أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي، ببركة ومدد سيدي محمد فوزي الكركري قدس الله سره الشريف. Blossoming Solitude: The Importance of Spiritual Detachment. Seekers of Divine Light. A friend from America approached me, wanting to know how to avoid distractions on his journey to connect with Allah Jalla Jalaluh. I explained to him that true detachment is not merely physical, it begins deep within our souls. For those new to this journey, it's essential to tread cautiously at the outset. Steer clear of individuals and certain Sufi books that might act as veils, obscuring the truth and leading you astray. Additionally, be mindful of devices like phones and tablets. They can easily distract you in this journey. O new disciples, understand that at the outset of this sacred expedition, you are akin to green fruits, yet to ripen in your knowledge of Allah Jalla Jalaluh, unable to fully discern between the virtuous and the malevolent, or ascertain who is close to or distant from Allah's grace. To foster both personal growth and spiritual fortification, I advise you, O disciple, to find sanctuary primarily within your homes during the initial phases of your spiritual exploration. This sanctuary is not merely a physical structure, but should be a haven where you can immerse yourselves in deep contemplation and remembrance of Allah Jalla Jalaluh, shielded from misleading external influences. During this time, let your hearts seek guidance exclusively from your Shaykh, your spiritual mentor, who graced you with his knowledge and nurtured your spirit. Immerse yourself as a neglect of one's familial responsibilities. Nay, interactions must adhere to the boundaries delineated by the Sharia to prevent you, O disciple, from entangling yourself in complex and unbearable circumstances. Know that this initial passage should be characterized by solitude and seclusion. It should be a phase of deep engagement with dhikr and remembrance of Allah Jalla Jalaluh. In this phase, I encourage you to cultivate a conscious detachment from worldly affairs and the concerns of others. Recognize the years mired in negligence and sin. This should foster in you an authentic desire to reshape your lives to align more closely with Allah's revered teachings, guided by the wisdom of your Shaykh and the principles of his tariqah. Reflect on the monumental day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, a moment where each soul will stand solitary, accountable for her deeds. This should ignite in you a fervent motivation to traverse this path in solitude, shunning those who do not merit your attention. O seekers of the real, traversing the path of spiritual illumination, understand that this journey is oftentimes misinterpreted, with critiques hastily branding the disciples as being shrouded in depression or marred by mental unrest. Yet in essence, this is but a spiritual longing, a fervent desire to foster closeness with Allah Jalla Jalaluh, with the sole respite found in the ceaseless remembrance of the Almighty. In this sacred undertaking, I serve as a spiritual healer, dispensing the necessary cures to guide you, be it through solitude or integration within the community, all in accordance to your stage of spiritual realization. My guidance is a luminescent beacon, aiding disciples in steering through the intricacies of their spiritual voyage, warding off potential hostilities and hardships as elucidated in the Quranic verses concerning friendship and belief. O wayfarers, it is vital to cultivate a demeanor of humility, recognizing your finite comprehension and embracing the sanctity of solitude. Regrettably, many embark on this journey burdened with prior connections and affiliations that, alas, hinder the process of spiritual liberation and realization. It becomes an urgent necessity for those individuals to engage more actively in the process of detachment, tajreed, relying upon divine grace to shepherd it to fruition. At the heart of this metamorphosis lies the mastery over one's tongue, a potential source of spiritual decline, but also a potent instrument for spiritual ascent through dhikr. In this age, many souls are drawn to rampant verbosity, a tendency that must be curbed to foster genuine spiritual growth. I recall tales from my initial journey to my Shaykh Hajj al-Hassan, where I relinquished all my worldly possessions that might have been acquired through unsanctioned means, all in pursuit of profound repentance to Allah Jalla Jalaluh. As you immerse yourselves in this transformative expedition, it is necessary to break bonds with acquaintances that epitomize modern friendships, forging a fertile ground for earnest engagement in dhikr. It perplexes me how individuals in this era sustain thousands of friendships in social media when, in bygone times, we found fulfillment with a mere dozen intimate companions. I ponder, how do you navigate existence amidst this relentless tide of interactions, emerging gadgets, and an infinite cascade of books awaiting perusal? I reflect that in my time, attention was devoted to a select few profound manuscripts. I question you, disciples, where do you unearth the time for these diversions? Where do you submerge yourselves in the profound remembrance of Allah Jalla Jalaluh? Genuine immersion in dhikr seems elusive amidst this prevailing tumult that you self-imposed on yourself. O disciples, reflect upon my personal journey. You will discover in it a wellspring of inspiration in my unwavering dedication to dhikr and my firm resolve to establish a more intimate connection with the divine presence. It is pertinent for me to emphasize first that my intention in sharing these personal narratives is not to vent, but to humbly convey the teachings granted to me in my role as a wali, entrusted by Allah Jalla Jalaluh to shepherd you and your like on this spiritual voyage. I am, whether you accept or not, a beacon of luminous guidance, whose radiant light, manifested profoundly within your hearts, is experienced in the palpable reality, not confined to mere metaphors. I recount episodes of deep remembrance, moments where I dedicated countless hours, my forehead embracing the walls, enveloped in the profound silence surrounding my dhikr, shielding myself from the tempting distractions of the outside world, driven by an unquenchable desire for closeness to Allah Jalla Jalaluh and the unveiling of the secrets hidden beyond the luminous manifestations. I offered myself with undivided passion to this divine journey, while the world swayed in its perpetual dance around me. My father partaking in his day-to-day activities, I stood resolute, engrossed in the harmonious resonance of my dhikr, seeking the quietude of secluded corners within the big mosque of Al-Arwi, my city. To elude distractions, I nurtured a deep and personal communion with the divine luminescence, a light that, as if by divine orchestration, magnetically drew souls towards me. Observe this paradox, heedless disciples, that as you get closer to the divine light and carve distance from others, They find themselves captivated, drawn towards your aura, yearning for your attention, your benevolent affection. Allah Jalla Jalaluh, in His finite wisdom and grace, attends to your every need, often before they crystallize in your conscious awareness, masterfully arranging encounters with beings endowed with answers to your unvoiced inquiries, guiding your footsteps with subtlety yet unequivocal certainty. To conclude, seekers of the real, I impart unto you that the initial phases of the spiritual expedition are comparable to the tender nurturing of a fledgling plant, shielded diligently from potential harm until it blossoms into a mighty tree, fortified enough to withstand the corrosive influences of society, including individuals perceived to be of diminished moral stature. The emphasis during this nascent stage is to foster growth, to cultivate the light of the real until it unfolds magnificently, commanding reverence and attracting others towards the luminous embrace of God that dwells within. Embark upon this journey with a dedicated heart and witness the divine accompaniment guiding you towards the wisdom you ardently seek, establishing connections that spur spiritual elevation, ushering you ultimately to a sanctuary of certainty and resilience in your faith, and then poised to reintegrate with the world, laden with the bountiful fruits of your spiritual labor and cultivation, a reborn luminous soul emerges, prepared to guide others towards the luminous path of divine light and ma'rifah, gnosis. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.